Going good. How you been?
Oh, I have been. I have been. That cannot be contested.
Yeah,
That's
it's
about it.
my first off day to relax in quite some time. So
Yeah,
any other
my
day, it would have been a drastically different answer.
my off day was that yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. I was sick the entire day, so that
Mm,
wasn't a relaxing off day. I tried to play some Super Mario, and I was too sick for all that him jumping around and eating mushrooms, and couldn't deal
I'm
with
not
it.
saying that's never fun.
So you're telling me Kevin Gates came out with a bad new diss track against the American people.
Kevin Gates need to come out and defend his name from his namesake because Matt Gates. There's one thing that links the two. Apparently, they both like booty, but but Kevin Gates, he makes it known that he likes grown women. Matt Gates, on the other hand, fucking senator from Florida, one of Trump's best buddies, he's being investigated by the FBI for potentially. When I first heard it, I just saw trafficking. I was
Oh
like,
no.
trafficking. And then when I looked into it more, they're looking into him because there's been suspicions that he's been using his money to send a 17-year-old rides and transportation with him, like to Washington and back. And they're trying to see like if this is a romantic relationship, because if it is, that's child trafficking, because this is a 17-year-old that you were paying to go back and forth with you to have sex with you,
Yeah, that's
which is illegal.
that's explicitly what that is. I I'm less surprised than I should be. I'm disgusted but not surprised. That's that's not a good time for anyone.
Not at all.
Because what was it? More wasn't that long ago. What was it?
No, no, not at all.
And that
That
was the
was,
same thing.
yeah, I
Well,
think that was 2016.
and
What time you work tomorrow?
Uh, all right, yo, I'm looking for this video
yeah,
because he went on Tucker Carlson right after
ugh, that's
this popped up.
that's just about where you always want to go after that, isn't it?
For whatever reason, and it went hilariously bad.
I'm unsurprised by that whatsoever.
But of course, everybody want to jump on the wave and make their own videos about it. Nobody
Right.
has the only just the video itself. I found one though. Last time we did this, did we figure out a way that I could share a video?
Um, let's see. Let's see what happens when I click share screen.
Oh yeah, I can. I found it.
Okay. I accidentally hit. Okay. Nope, I'm not sharing my screen currently. Thank you very much, Melon app.
Let's see.
Also, I figured out how to. Oh, okay. I made my fun little TikTok thing.
Oh yeah, here we go. This was his little appearance right afterwards.
Allegation, and it is a lie. The New York Times is running a story that I have traveled with a 17-year-old woman, and that is verifiably false. People can look at my travel records and see that that is not the case.
Instead, Gates claims he and his family are the victim, the target of an extortion attempt.
On March 16th, my father got a text message demanding a meeting wherein a person demanded $25 million in exchange for making horrible sex trafficking allegations against me go away.
Pensacola-based federal prosecutors are examining the extortion claim, according to the source familiar with the investigation. That is being handled apart from the other investigation. The congressman accusing a former federal prosecutor by name during an interview on Fox News.
His name is David McGee. He was a top official in the leadership in the Northern District of Florida as a prosecutor. He currently works at the Beggs and Lane law firm. As a matter of fact, one of the recordings that was made at the FBI and Department of Justice request occurred at that law firm, and the money that was supposed to be paid today that would have shown even more evidence of David McGee's work in this extortion scheme.
Gates also called on the FBI and DOJ to release any tapes of surveillance involving his father.
And if the FBI and Department of Justice will release the tapes that they are in possession of, the American people will see what is really going on.
McGee's law firm, Beggs and Lane, released a statement denying the accusations against him. The allegation by the congressman is both false and defamatory. Mr. McGee was the chief United States attorney for the Northern District of Florida 25 years ago. During his tenure with the Department of Justice, his reputation for integrity and ethical conduct was impeccable. CNN source did not disclose who was being investigated for the extortion. The interview with Tucker Carlson at times got uncomfortable, with Gates suggesting that the talk show host had dinner with Gates and a woman who could be at the center of the investigation by the FBI into Gates's conduct. Carlson said he did not remember the woman or the dinner.
I don't remember the woman you're speaking of or the context at all, honestly. But I would like to know who. So they're saying there is a 17-year-old girl who you had a relationship with. Is that true? And who are they? Who is this girl? What are they talking about at the New York Times?
The person doesn't exist. I have not had a relationship with a 17-year-old. That is totally false.
Even Carlson left the interview sounding confused.
You just saw our Matt Gaetz interview. That was one of the weirdest interviews I've ever conducted.
Today, the most powerful Republican in the House, Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, called the allegations serious, but said he was waiting to learn more.
If it comes out to be true, yes, we would remove him if that was the case. But right now, as Matt Gaetz says, it is not true, and we don't have any information. So let's get all the information.
Of course you don't. But yeah, that's the oddness going on behind that.
Especially the way he said 17-year-old woman, and you can kind of tell by the language people use where their sympathies lie and what they're thinking, because I've met 17-year-olds. I wouldn't call any of them women.
No.
They're girls.
Exactly. By the law as well.
Yeah, like, by the law, but, like, morally, and the way, like, their mental development is, that's a girl, my man. That's not a woman.
So,
like, that's something people say. That's like something people say to kind of downplay that kind of shit. Because nah, fam.
Nah, not at all. But
yeah, that's something.
That's his little case.
Yeah, he did that.
It's like I can just tell by the way he's talking.
He did that. I don't know what you want me to say. Yeah, no, he definitely did that. Yeah, I prefer Kevin Gates to that scumbag.
Big time.
Yeah. Speaking of rappers, Kevin Gates is a rapper. Yeah, you seen the Lil Nas X video? We talked about this before, but you saw that?
I've seen people talk about it so much that I have seen the video just through clips of people and pictures of people talking about it.
I'm in love with it, mostly because of the reaction that it got. Because the Christian right are very upset about him being in hell when they told him he's going to hell, and so I don't think we need to watch the whole video or anything. Although I enjoyed it, but it was like actually artistically done. That like it was a fun video where Lil Nas X had carnal relations with the devil.
Pole to hell.
He did do that.
I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a real power play, but like it was like that's fun, but it actually had artistic merit because like at the beginning, it was like making a lot of references to is that Plato that did the symposium, the like myth where like all people were at first like man and woman, and then they were split in two. Like it's a Greek myth. Drew
Hmm.
references to that. He had Latin script on the like ground where it said in Latin, "They will hate what they do not understand." So like it was actually a very artistic video, and
Exactly.
I uh, I listened
It
to a
had
lot of
more than
metal.
just stripping and twerking on the devil.
Yeah, like much more than that. It was like the way they react is like the way they reacted to it demonstrates why he made that video in the first place. Like they hate what they do not understand, and like since they're talking about how he's going to hell, like he clearly knows that they think that. That's why the whole video was made. That's why he did any of that. That's why he was like acting much more flamboyant than he normally does because he was like wearing like very flamboyant like drawers like while he was on that stripper pole and was wearing like platform heels when he was going to hell. Like, come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, he knows you think he knows you think that he's going to hell, and he does not care.
And he knows that you're gonna watch it, so he knew to ramp up the things that they don't like because you claim that you don't like everything, but you claim that we're in the marketplace of ideas and everybody's getting too sensitive or whatever. And he's like, bet. So he puts out a video of him going to hell and twerking on the devil because he wants to. And it's like, oh, but think about our kids. Our kids aren't supposed to see things like this. Blah blah blah. This gonna turn the frogs gay. I guess I don't know what the fuck be going on, but just the dumbest takes in the world has come out of this already.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's just hilarious because this is the point. It wasn't like before, like something would come out that we all enjoy in its quality, and we're like, hey, this is really cool. And then, like, they would say something about it, and it will, like, hurt the feelings of the person who made it because they're like, hey, I actually thought this was pretty cool. This time, you're like, no, my main intent right now is to troll an entire segment of the like America right now, and that shit worked perfectly.
yeah, and I think it's really cool that I mean, first of all, like if a child's watching that, that's kind of on the parents. Like, yeah, maybe they shouldn't watch like an adult get like real sexy and shit on the fucking internet. But I think that's kind of fucking what's a parent supposed to do. Like, there's porn on the internet. If you can't get this under control, like that's your own fault. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like
Because it's like these phones going through your own phone. Like when it comes to settings, I just click around every little tab until I find by accident what I'm looking for. And while I'm tapping through those, I see all kinds of ways that you can stop, block site names, block keywords from sites and stuff like that. But it's either they're boomers or they don't really care about what they see, just as long as it fits. If it's a guy and he's looking like if you see your fucking 10-year-old boy looking at lesbians kissing on YouTube or something like that, it's like, oh, all boys will be boys or whatever the fuck. But then if it's like a little girl uh fucking looking at the the details of a Ford F-150 or something. It's like you're supposed to be looking at Barbie dolls, blah, blah, blah. But it's like nope, there is no marketplace of ideas or accepting everything. They wanted to cancel the fuck out of Lil Nas X.
yeah,
So what happened to cancel culture bad? That's what I want to know mainly.
yeah,
In this
like
whole this video is going to turn my kids gay or whatever, and it's like, well, it's a good thing we didn't cancel Cardi B. Show them WAP, and now all of a sudden they like girls again because this is how this works, right? No, they're fucking idiots and get on my goddamn nerves.
Nah, 2020 and 2021 is gonna make all the youth bisexual because Cardi B and then Lil Nas X. Everyone likes everyone now. Yeah, like they are okay with women and girls. They're even okay with girls being sexualized. But when a man is sexualizing himself, specifically for other men, but I don't think there's anything that's gonna like make a woman not enjoy that video if they're attracted to men. Because it's a half naked guy. If someone likes half naked guys, they're going to get down on that.
Exactly.
But like they were okay with and this isn't me saying that Billie Eilish did anything wrong, but like she she was sexualized when she was a child, and they were okay with like
Exactly. That shit was
that
mad
child being
weird.
sexualized. They were okay with do you remember when we were kids when there was a countdown thing on the internet for when the Olsen twins turned 18?
Yeah,
Everyone was
I
okay
remember
with
seeing
that.
that. I'm like, what the fuck?
But Lil Nas X goes down a stripper pole, and suddenly the whole world's gone crazy. And it's not like that's the first depiction of hell. Like, I'm really into metal and shit. Like, and that also that was a metal ass video. He killed the devil, metal. But like, I got on this like satanic symbol because it looks cool. I've got like a Doomslayer little figure on my mantle, like like as a display piece. Like, no, you're clearly not
Exactly.
upset about the depictions of hell. You're upset about a various combination of things, and it kind of goes
Mainly,
into the an intersectional identity politics kind of thing. They don't like that it was a gay black youth that did that video.
exactly. There's no real viable reason why you you dislike this video and you try to shade it in a bunch of different ways. But if we go down the list, we're gonna see that you're gonna be fucking hypocritical somewhere on this list
Gonna be
because
hypocritical everywhere.
only like the not only but like mainly is just the Christian women who didn't like the Katy Perry "I Kissed a Girl" uh little moment we went through
Oh
when
yeah,
she did such a thing.
that did happen, and there was
Hmm.
not this reaction. And
Exactly. Because I see this as what it is. Because I'm not looking at it as like I'm just so triggered because to making fun of my God or whatever. And it's like not really making fun of your God because, like you said, kill the devil. And what was that story? I'm pretty sure it was out of the Bible where the human went down to challenge Satan to take himself back. And that's pretty much what that whole video was going over because he like put the horns on his head. He took himself out of the devil to regain himself.
I think that was a Greek story. Like that kind of
Could
reminds
be.
me of Orpheus, where
Yeah.
Orpheus went down to like save his girlfriend or some shit.
Hmm. I remember another movie about that too. But yeah, they're following that whole thing. But they weren't the whole thing about this to me, it's the pop star. I'm extremely popular and I know I can do something that'll pop off on social media. That's partly what the I Kissed the Girl shit was. That's a lot of like there's different things like they just randomly pop up in my head when I think about it. But this is what this is right here. When people have fake relationships like fucking Kim Kardashian and that basketball player, they were only together for like 3 months and then the season ended and then they just split out of nowhere. It was like, you think that was like a real loving relationship? No. There just happened to be a TV show for them coming out like around the corner. It's like you can line these type of things up. But in this case, uh, it is especially hilarious to me because I get sick and tired of these fucking hypocritical religious figures who wants to selectively get upset about what they see. especially men.
Yep, yep. There's a reason why a lot of people like to talk about men being trash. It's this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're okay with fetishizing lesbians, like with Katy Perry's "I Kissed a Girl" and lesbians and bisexuals. They're okay with sexualizing that and like fetishizing that, but not actually accepting it. But they can at least fetishize it. But they have trouble fetishizing Lil Nas X. But I think it's really
Because
cool, and
he's doing it with consent. If you have consent, that's taking the fun out of it for them.
I remember when that guy that died talked about how the liberals are gonna call the rape police if they don't hear about consent, and then he died.
It was like that was extremely timely.
I liked when he died.
Exactly. Get him out of here.
Do it again.
That is when cancel culture works. Your body canceled you.
Yeah, but
That shit is so wild to me.
and I know that it's like partly fake outrage that's distracting from real issues that have not gone away that have like continued to exist. It's the same thing about people being upset about removing racist as Dr. Seuss books that no one even read those ones. So they're like fake outrage about those being removed. They don't care about it being removed. It's just a good distraction. And the potato head, mixed potato head, like they don't care. They don't care because especially because they've been told there's still Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, and there's not some sort of non-binary potato head. Although I guess that would be pretty cool. A non-binary potato head doesn't exist. There's no mixed potato head. They don't care about that. They hardly care about Lil Nas X. They like it because they can distract from the issues and also use it as a way of like downplaying with Dr. Seuss, downplaying racism, especially Islamophobia. Um, they're able to downplay that. They're able to like
Hmm.
use the potato heads as a way of like disparaging trans people and non-binary people without directly disparaging trans people and non-binary people because they know that's not polite. They can't do that in public. They can privately and use dog whistles like talk mad shit about trans people, but the dog whistles protect them, gives them some buffers. Lil Nas X, if we look at things intersectionally, they get to talk shit about everyone.
Exactly. So like,
And
they
all
get talk shit about people who don't believe in their religion. They get talk about people shit about people that's not uh straight white men. They get to talk about people, see, religion, who don't just abide by your man, you like woman all time. There's no in between.
yeah, it's
Rap,
always
music, everything.
yep, they only like the Tom McDonald.
Oh god.
Yeah. Yes, just all ways of like reinforcing like the hegemony, like reinforcing hegemonic powers, like talking about how things ought to be without directly saying that this is how it ought to be.
But I'm going to indirectly say it through my criticisms of this thing right here.
And everyone knows what they're doing, and they know what they're doing, and they know that we know. But they just like to use that as like a proxy war of disparaging everyone because they're
Exactly.
garbage.
Big time. And my whole thing is that's what makes this funnier because they do that shit all the time. They always do the whole um no one's saying like we should shock gay people to make them straight again. It's like who would ever do that? Wink wink. And it's like, no, you're doing this shit. But this video here is Lil Nas X doing that back to them. And that shit is fucking hilarious. But in a visualized form that he's gonna make a lot of money off of. at the same time.
I do enjoy that he is going to make money off of this satanic panic that's happening in the middle of a plague, which is very medieval.
Exactly. It's almost like times repeat themselves.
Yeah, and it's although since there's been this like strange rise and left wing actual like left wing people, it's like the end of it's going to be end of feudalism, except we're not going to have some like bullshit capitalism in its place, or I guess mercantilism came after feudalism, but there's a lot more like open
Hmm.
discussions about like the land back movement and like actual like fighting back. And today, I know you're not plugged into the TikTok because you're not a cool hip youth like I am. But I'm a cool hip youth, and I'm on the TikTok, and everyone's like talking openly about how today is apparently I think it's Trans Visibility Day. I think is what they're calling
Hmm.
it,
I
and like,
saw a post on Facebook about that.
oh yeah, you're on Facebook because you're a boomer.
Boomer.
Yeah, but like yeah, on TikTok, like my For You page is like filled with people talking about like their experience as a trans person. They're talking about like the good parts of it, the bad parts of it, and like odd parts of it that they weren't expecting. Mostly, mostly bad things happen because
Unfortunately.
this world. But there's at least a. I hate to say this word, but there's at least a discourse about it.
Which is something we didn't have before at all. So it's like just taking baby steps toward it.
Yeah, because
It's better than nothing.
even like when we were in high school, where I went to high school, people didn't even like gay people existing. That was not something you were just like allowed to do, is be openly gay. Because that could go pretty bad for you. And now, like, people are like trying to like they're willing to display like their transness. And that's something that was you would not have like even thought to display publicly when I was in high school. So that's cool that people are not afraid to exist as they are, and that people are like talking about like actual intersectional issues.
Hmm. And that just annoys me because it's like it shouldn't be this much of a fight to even have to get to this point. That's an indictment on, I wouldn't even say America, just the world,
At,
really.
at least the West. Yeah,
But
at least.
we're supposed to be the best, America the best, right? We should be the first ones to catch up with the times.
Yeah,
Like not saying that trans people are any less than anybody else or like universal health care, but you know,
but at least now the military has said that they'll help pay for medical treatment for trans people if they join the military.
you
So if
think anyway, right?
uh, yeah, they said that. So now which definitely feels like a hostage situation because not all trans people will experience dysphoria, but a lot
Mm-mm.
do. And since they're not, and they know that people are not insured, and not even all insurance policies will help pay for like any sort of like medical care that trans people need. Um, Especially because a lot of it's considered elective, and that's not what most of it is an elective. So that's a way of holding trans people hostage, saying they can't get their hormones, they can't get like hormone blockers, and if they want like a top surgery or a bottom surgery, they can't get that because they're too poor, unless they agree to go overseas and be an imperialist for the United States military. Then they can get the medical care that they need.
Exactly. And unfortunately, a lot of times that's what people who need big things like that is forced to do. They're not going in because they're fucking America first GI bros or nothing like that. They feel like they have to. It's like you went through school. Not everybody is going to be passionate about something or have a family to push them into a certain field or whatnot. Um, so all they see is the military because they come through during your lunchtime and you go to the table and they tell you about how great it is and what you get when you go out of it. And in some of your most formative years, because I'm pretty sure your brain don't finish developing until like 25. uh, but at 17, you were signing papers saying like, I want to be a pawn on a board for countries to have petty beefs with each other to go at it. And it's like, that's just a little sick to me.
Yeah, I was a dumbass when I was like 17, 18. I'm still like kind of a dumbass, but I was a real dumbass when I was like in high school. I should, at no point should someone have given me the option to join the military and go overseas with a firearm or like be res- be responsible for the defense of the nation.
Exactly.
Which is not what the
So
military
young.
is. It's not what it is. But no, like they're getting kids to do that, and it was an actual shocker to me when I realized most countries don't have the military come into their schools and try to recruit children to join the military. That's
It's
an
just mad
American
odd.
thing.
Exactly.
Just like the
It's
Pledge of
like,
Allegiance, like other countries don't have like a daily ritual in high school to like swear allegiance and pledge loyalty to their country, but it became like a banal thing for every American kid ever to just stand up and like swear fealty.
that reminds me of somewhere. It'll come to me later. But it's like I took JROTC in high school for 3 years, and I talked to those people that come in at those tables once. And then that one time, they spoke more about glowing and making the military seem so fun and excellent in that one setting than those 3 years of JROTC that I took to avoid taking the class of U.S. government because fuck that. It's like they straight up lie. And now knowing people who are like in higher grades in the military, myself, that I went to school with that are our age, they tell you like they're just out there lying. They are trying to meet quotas. And it's like, I don't know. That shit is extremely odd to me how that is allowed to slide.
I mean,
Because really, with as much money as we spend on raising the budget every year, red or blue in the White House, red or blue in the Senate, red or blue in the House, it's like y'all should have like these Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator models by now walking around blasting shit instead of making jets that never come off the ground just to sit there and look pretty. It's like, where the fuck is all this money going? And it's like, what's your plan for stabilizing the Middle East instead of just being there? It's like I can remember when we had like I've talked to a person in my store who said that he was in Saddam Hussein's palace because in Desert Storm he was our friend. And he took the shit that we gave him during that time to come back at us later. And it's like we're doing the same shit here. It's like we study history, you know the history. These are smart people up there. They're immoral. A lot of them are evil, but these are smart people. They know what the fuck went down. Why don't we do anything different?
I think it's
Where you think capitalism is gonna fit into fucking Iraqi, like all this other shit over there? It was like you need to be trying to take diplomatic reaches to these people instead of trying to use drones. It's like I don't see where this is supposed to do anything. It just feels like spinning of wheels to keep it going on purpose.
Yeah, see, I don't think like any of it's like an accident. Like the army and the military and the government knows recruiters are lying, and they encourage it because we have a voluntary military. You join it voluntarily, and then they don't want stability in the Middle East because who would that benefit? It would benefit the Middle East, and that's not America. And unless they're an American ally like Saudi Arabia or Israel, they're not really going to need them to be stable, and they're not going to need them to do well because that doesn't directly benefit us. None of this is like for good. Like a lot of like lower level soldiers, I'm certain think they are doing good. Like I was reading what was it not Graeber. I was reading something by Graeber, the anarchist theorist, and he was talking about how
Hmm.
a lot of soldiers, their one of their favorite memories of being in the military and serving is when they would do things like do dental exams or like give vaccinations to like Middle Eastern and Arabian people. But the Middle Eastern and Arabian people are still afraid of the military and have no positive views of America because they remember the bombings a lot more. Because yeah, they're doing dental cleanings and like dental exams for them, and then they're turning around and like shooting their family, and they're bombing their countries, and they're blowing them back into the Stone Age. Like they don't want to receive anything from America, and they especially don't want to receive any American culture, and they don't want to receive capitalism. Most of them don't. Most of the people there don't, because they were socializing. And in Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, he was nationalizing the oil so that the country would have more money to spend. They would have more resources. They'd be a more wealthy country. And they were not doing terrible. They weren't doing great, but they weren't doing terrible until we came in, killed Muammar Gaddafi, made sure their oil did not get nationalized, made sure that they were not accepting any socialist policies. Just like how Iran used to not be as religious. Yeah, they were Muslim, but they weren't as extreme. They weren't as dogmatic. Like women were driving. Not all of them like were wearing headdresses because they weren't as extreme in their religion. Just like in America, Christians are wearing mixed fabric and stuff. Like they were moderately religious, like in America. Well,
Exactly.
or more like Europe, I guess. But we were like funding like the religious extremists because they oppose the socialists because we just hate socialism that much. Except for the lower ranking soldiers who just wanted to like clean some kids' teeth, and they tricked them into thinking that the best part of their job was cleaning kids' teeth.
Exactly. But just like, and a lot of them don't know. Like when I was when I was 24, it was like I had no real idea. Like the whole grand scheme of these type of things. I knew why we were there, knew why we were fighting from the right wing Republican like explanation of it of when we were there. So another administration comes in, they're pulling people out, blah blah blah, but we're still there, and I'm wondering, okay, why are we still there, even though there's like a Democrat that's in? Then I had to look critically at both sides, and that's when I went down the rabbit hole of just trying to learn everything about such all these things. And the end of that trail is not a good one because you just learn that it's just a bunch of bullshit at the end of the day that should probably be easily avoided. But there's a reason why it's still going, and it's because we are profiting off of such things.
Yeah, and this is stuff that we've been doing for like 200 something years because we've been at war like what like 220 something years out of all of the 240 something years that we've been in existence. We're a warfaring nation because we're an imperialistic nation, because we've tried to strip a lot of the resources out of our own country, but then we realize that's more profitable to underpay and exploit people in other countries and steal their resources, keep them down, make sure that they don't have too much stability and try to fight us off. And
Exactly.
then when they do, we talk all about how Cuba is. They Castro came in with a comically large spoon and stole all of their food.
Yes, yes, because socialism to them is just one big ass spoon. It's like we're
Yeah,
gonna scoop everything up, all your shoes, your cars, with this big spoon, and just leave with it because that's what happened. That's why
yeah,
people were actually because we only hear about the people who go from Cuba to Florida. We don't hear about the people who had to go from America to Cuba for
yeah, and
various reasons.
it's not like every refugee was like the bourgeoisie and was an oppressor, because yeah, admittedly, a revolution's not a fun time to be in a place,
No.
but some of them were very wealthy. Some of them did try to cling on to their wealth and realized they couldn't, and realized that people were not looking at them too favorably now that they were in charge. So they had to get the fuck out of there. Like, a lot of them were oppressors, and a lot of them just realized that, hey, there's a revolution going on right now, and this is a bad time to be here. Like,
Hmm.
it's a mixed bag, but the propaganda in America is so extreme that most people here, well, a lot of people here hate communism or hate socialism. It can define neither term.
I was
They
about
just,
to say they think both of them are the exact same thing. It's like tomato, tomato to them. It's like they're both the same thing. It's like not really, but I with those at that point, it's like can you even explain it to them at that time? You gotta find a way to flex it into like a what's that guy's name? The fake woke guy.
the fake what?
The
The
fake
what?
woke guy, the guy who made that song you were talking about earlier.
Oh, the fake woke guy that made a song. Oh, Tom
Tom
McDonald?
something? Yeah. We
Tom
got fit
McDonald?
we gotta flex that into a Tom McDonald parody and tell
I
them
don't
to
even know if
jump
I want to
into
make a Tom McDonald parody. That guy. That guy.
stinks.
Tom McDonald is the worst thing that's happened to hip hop music, because he thinks he is part of hip hop music and will never be part of hip hop music no matter how hard he
No,
tries,
no. It's
because
like,
that's
please try to hold the show somewhere. I want
he's
to see
the
how empty that
antithesis.
building is.
I mean, there might be some people in that building, but they're all gonna be 15-year-olds that like Ben Shapiro.
Oh
He's gonna
God.
open for Ben Shapiro's what Tom McDonald's gonna do.
All those
Because
future socialists.
I sure hope so.
That
Yeah,
seems to always be how it is. It was like I was like being talking to a guy and we were all having fun. We were just roasting people. And then it's like a couple years later I found out he was a Nazi. And then and then like they're watching Thought Slime or Vosh or somebody and then they're sending them super chats saying you saved me from the alt right and shit like that. It was like there are so many stories about shit like that and they're always like 20.
I've been seeing that on I've seen that on the TikTok. So there's this weird trend that's going around on like communist TikTok, um, or or even more the broad like leftist TikTok, because the broad leftist TikTok is younger than like the full fledged communist TikTok. There's this weird trend where these like 18, 20 year olds all talk about how, hey, you know how you have an alt right phase? Hey, you know how you have a racist phase? What? No, I don't know how you
No,
have
word.
a,
No.
a alt-right phase. I didn't have an alt-right phase. What are you talking about? But apparently that's a thing. I I didn't
That's
realize.
highly unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a similar thing to that. Well, I mean, if you like Ben Shapiro, you're probably a Nazi. But like, yeah, I didn't realize that was like an actual thing that happened, especially outside of those like the specific brand of people that are 20-year-old on TikTok that are yeah, I because especially because um I'm admittedly not a giant Vosh fan, so I don't like see that. I don't watch a lot of Thought Slimes lives, so I don't see the people that are sending super chats saying thank you for saving me from the alt right. But at least they're being deprogrammed because that is a cult that does prey on like young, like vulnerable kids. So
And it's like, and this is not by mistake. It's like there has actually been like people tracking funds from super PACs that are like funding Kiwi farm servers and putting ads on like children's sites that are like trying to get them to dig into PragerU a little bit, and then that's the first thing you see. It's like, hey, these this looks like a well produced video, even though it's not. And they're saying things in like a professional voice, so maybe like owning slaves wasn't such a bad thing. And that's the type of shit PragerU gonna have you on, and once you're on that, it's gonna keep going. And that's something I have seen is there was one of the Prime Case panels in the Prime Kai's he was having the panel talking about responsible platforming, and that's where they started talking about how there's different ways to de-radicalize people, and the way that people who would come on that panel do that. Some of them use those panels to talk to people of like minds, and the other half people they're like, we're going to talk to these people on the other side and try to wing them to the middle or to our side, or tell these Nazis that they're dumb as shit, and this is why you're dumb as shit. And a lot of people I've personally seen has jumped over because they're like, hey, I like this guy, and he's talking, he's like having a debate with like Bosch or Thought Slime don't do them. There's somebody else I'm thinking of that do them.
American Johnson.
I think so because there's more people like on the actual socialists and shit that gets into it. But they rail on these people so hard, and their people, like the fans on the other side, come to watch, and they're like, they made our guy look like a jackass. And I don't feel cool being with a guy who sounded like a jackass. So they like start watching more of the like the lefties videos, and it starts to make sense to them because when we talk about something, we usually have proof that we can show you. And we
Yeah,
can show you people that are non-biased that believe in the same thing, and that's where you get the proof from, not from a biased source. Them, they go off of conspiracy theory, faith, feeling. It's like nothing tangible that you can actually have to come to a real conclusion.
yeah. They also
So, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. A lot of what they do also feels like kind of what liberals do, which is like a kind of respectability thing where they like try to act respectable or like try to be civil or try to like. And one thing that I see, which has been kind of creeping into a lot of like leftist spaces, is an intellectualism or pseudo intellectualism that does nothing for actual real
That's
working
just so
class
annoying.
people. Huh?
Exactly. That's it. That's just so annoying because the way you win is to have the masses on your side. And guess what? The masses don't have all the time in the world to study all these books and booklets and things like that with his information. So if you have a platform, it would be nice to make this shit either entertaining or break it down to where, because it is possible. It is possible to break these things down to where it's understandable. And like you can make it easy to swallow for like a one mom to understand. Like maybe the way things are going right now isn't the best. Maybe we can like improve society.
Yeah, see,
But if
this
you're
is
going to tell that wine mom fuck off because you didn't read enough figures, that's not a good thing.
yeah. See, like one thing that I've seen quite a bit of is a quote by Fred Hampton, which is "Theory means nothing without praxis," and like that kind of yeah. Like, what's the point of theory if all you're gonna do is like write an essay about it? Like that's nothing, and that's what these like pseudo intellectuals want to do, is they just want to like talk about it so that they can be the smartest person in the room. Do you,
Exactly. You're not allowed to engage in it. You don't know as much as me. It's like that's not how that works. But whatever.
when it's a whole like political theory devoted to liberating the working class? Like, I why does the working class need to be like college educated on all this shit? Like, I don't care about any of that. I
Exactly. Especially when they're working too long to even bother do all the stuff that you're able to do. It's like you need to be recruiting, not push away. Because if you push
yeah,
them away, they're going to land in the opening arms of fucking fascists.
yeah, see, and that's why like the right leftist is able to recruit conservatives easier than they are liberals, because a lot of liberals are like these like kind of elites. Like, they think they're the smartest in the room, and they think that they like will be able to save everyone by talking like real fancy at them and conserve. But like the right leftists understand that the right leftist is also working class, and they understand what a class person needs to hear. They understand what a working class person goes through, so they're actually able to engage with them, talk to them about their work and why it would be better if they were in charge of their work. And yeah, that's not where like communism or socialism or anarchy ends, is at work. But that's a pretty damn good starting place when socialism is the seizing of the means of production.
Exactly. But it's like we can't even get our foot into the door there because we can't even agree with other people that are on like the same part of the little political graph that's on your side. And it's like that's the only time where I'm like the respectability should be there because I've seen like somebody who considers themselves a communist talk with somebody who considers themselves like a sock dem, and like a lot of the things they kind of agree on in like a broad way, but then once they start breaking things down they disagree with it there. A lot of the times it's like one of the sides get real kind of like disrespectful about it, and it's like neither side is really wrong, but this is the type of conversations that need to go down in a respectable way and get to a solution. But you calling somebody a dumb fuck in the middle of it just because they believe in something isn't going to wean them there. That's going to wean them more to the center, and that's just going to make people become like neocons, not neocons, but neoliberals. And that's not where we want people to stand because, as you can see, there's fucking neoliberal hype houses and shit popping up of people being happy to be neolibs, and it's like, what the fuck? That blew me away when you told me that.
Yeah, people actually want to be neoliberals. They're okay with being neoliberals. They can look at what the United States did to pretty much everywhere we've been to in the global south and say, it's okay. When like we've destabilized multiple places in the global south And then they want to point to Venezuela and be like, how could socialism work if Venezuela, when we did that? Venezuela was trying to what were they trying to nationalize? I think they were trying to nationalize their oil, kind of like Libya was trying to do. And then we were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait a minute there, Venezuela. How about some neoliberalism? And then became destabilized. Because that's what neoliberalism does, is destabilize the global south. That's the only way it can survive, is by destabilizing the global south.
But they do it with a smile and diversity.
Yeah,
I remember that.
They'll let me say, hey, my name is Comrade Faust, please use he/they pronouns, and they'll say, cool, can you kill a brown person, Comrade Faust? And I'll say no, and then I won't have the job. But they'll respect my pronouns.
Exactly. But now if you smoke marijuana, then you're fired, even though it's legal in your state. I saw a little bit of that. That was fucking ridiculous.
Oh, how yeah, it might be legal. Oh, are you talking about that one TikTok? Did you see the TikTok where the person said, just a reminder, marijuana might be legal in your state, but it's illegal federally, and you need to respect the law. You see, because that's a. Ooh.
I was about to say that was pretentious. For one, if one state's good enough to legalize it, everyone else should be able to legalize it.
Yeah, this is the darkest timeline.
Situation I was talking about was like people getting fired from like staffers and people there on the like internships and shit getting fired from the White House because of them answering that they've smoked weed in the past, but weed is legal in DC and they still got fired for it. And then they come out later and they were like, oh, it was just a misunderstanding, blah, blah, blah. But there was only like around 5 people that were fired or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, just only 5 people who had a job who don't have a job anymore. They didn't bring them back. They're just like, oh, we're sorry for the misconvenience. But fuck those people, though.
Well,
and passed a fucking Kamala Harris talking about she smoked weed before, Obama admitting he smoked weed before. But for some reason, we have Democrats in power of everything in DC, but that wacky tobacco is still just so demonized. It's almost like they twerked on the devil's lap.
It's almost like nothing's changed that significantly since the White House turned blue. It's almost like there's not a giant difference depending on who's in charge. Because Syria will
There's a
still
bunch of
get bumped.
executive orders to change small little things around the edges.
Yep.
But nothing big.
Yeah, because we still have.
I just hate Trump for making me have to fucking support such things.
Yeah, this is a good lesson to the youth of the United States about why electoralism does not work and does not do hardly anything for the common person. Is because
exactly
nothing changes through electoralism. Nothing changes if they go low and then you go high. Chelsea Manning went low. Chelsea Manning actually made a difference. So maybe they go low and then you go a little bit lower. You said what?
Exactly. It's like go lower, not too low, just a little bit lower than them. Sometimes you might have to skirt around some things.
All right, so it's 9:30. So I think we should wrap up soon. But let's not leave it on that dour of a note about how electoralism changes nothing, and the United States is an imperialist wasteland that'll destroy every culture that it can look at, like a crappy version of King Midas. Instead, let's. But did you have a good Passover? Did you eat the bread of the affliction?
Can't say I have. I was probably at work for too long to even indulge.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we work in the same place,
But,
so we both know how terrible that is.
exactly. That shit is fucking terrible. The whole concept of Passover is just wild to me. Anyway,
I, I'm not Jewish, but I've been.
like let's gather around and tell the story of Exodus. It's like, that's fun.
I think the point is that it's not meant to be fun. I remember learning about it through the Rugrats, which is really neat.
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah. See, the Rugrats definitely had a Passover episode where they told the story of Exodus, and I believe the Pickles family had a actual Passover Seder, which was
I don't
really
even remember
cool.
the episode.
I remember that episode
I'm
vividly.
like the people.
Yeah, yeah. If you
Like one of these streaming services, I have that shit.
I watched it recently on Paramount Plus. You use offer code Praxis Pals for your
For
sign up.
absolutely nothing on.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. Passover is fascinating. Um, yeah,
It really is. I want to look into it.
yeah.
Let me see.
Oh,
What else was fun that I just rolled over? What are you saying?
I was gonna say that there's a cool thing about with Passover. A lot of times there's an orange placed on the table during the Seder, which a lot of people now
Mm-hmm.
say represents women rabbis, but was originally meant to symbolize gay and lesbian Jews, but that got changed by hegemonic powers that didn't want representation of gay
I was
Jews.
about to say word.
But hey, it's still the celebration was meant to be there.
It was meant to be, and then somebody saw it and was like, oh, this is aligned. And then they just kind of twisted it to just fit what they wanted it to fit. Much like the New Testament. We're talking about that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's
The-
like, this is no disrespect for anybody that even believes in these things. But it's like, you do got to see like the funny coinky dinks that go on every now and again when such things go down.
yeah, kind of like how Jesus was willing to scare the hell out of people that were trying to make profit out of off of religion, and flipped their tables of shit they were trying to sell, and picked up a bunch of cords and started whipping people for trying to sell shit and the temple, because Jesus was not about that kind of stuff.
That
But
doesn't sound like a plate was being passed around in a circle for
yeah,
everybody to reach into their wallets. I wonder how he would feel about churches and being tax exempt for all of their Easter lilies that they come to our store and buy.
yeah. I wonder how he would feel about that. I wonder how he would feel about wealth hoarding when one time Jesus said, "If you have two shirts and your neighbor has none, you must give him one of your shirts." I wonder how he would feel about how capitalism. I wonder if Jesus would like capitalism.
Exactly. That's like, how did socialist black Jesus turn into surfer fucking Communist, not communist, but fucking capitalist. Like everybody's for everybody. This fucking this fish is mine. This wine is mine. But I will turn your water into wine if you subscribe to my delivery fund.
And then Jesus gathered up all of the fish, and then he redistributed the fish mostly to 2 people, and then the rest he gave like a chicken nugget each.
Exactly. And it was like, now
That
that's
was
coming out of your taxes as well.
that was the Sermon on the Mount. And he told then Lazarus, he saw him dead on the ground, and he said, "Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, bitch." That's what Jesus said to
Those famous
Lazarus.
words. That's gonna be on somebody's wall in that like live, laugh, love fucking little stickers.
I believe you mean
Pull
live,
yourself.
laugh, love.
Makes sense. That really makes sense. If I saw that when I went in somebody's house, I'm like, yep, there is about to be some accepting violence over. It's accepting violence overseas from women drone officers here.
uh, this is the darkest
Indeed.
timeline. All right. I think that just about wraps it up for tonight.
Cool.
And we'll
Well,
try.
and then we finally found a day to do a little bit of something. And
Yep.
since things should be back to normal now, we can set up some more times later.
Supposedly it'll be back to normal, and we'll also try to stream some video games. So that's not.
Oh yeah, indeed.
So that's not upsetting. It'll still be upsetting, but after you see my tactics, but it won't be like existentially upsetting. It'll just be upsetting because you wouldn't survive a modern war lobby, would you, there, Comrade Faust?
Hey, we'll find a way to make it through.
All right.
If there's one thing that's real from animes, it's the power of friendship. And that's how we all make it through life.
Let's see how well the power of friendship carries me when I don't know what to do with Gibraltar. Let's hope Gibraltar's real good friends with you.
Exactly. It's all good. We'll find a way.
All right. Well, I will catch you later.
Hey, we out of here. Y'all have a good one.
All right. Bye. End stream.